group. We have Gallon versus Eddie. And we have a little bit of variation here. Gallon with the 4 classes we thought, but he didn't ban the Warlock. And so Eddie is left Warlock this time around. And I wonder if that is going to be the X factor here. The first series obviously did not work out very well for Gallon. But perhaps the second chance, the last chance that he has, you can't really... Once you get knocked into the lower bracket, you can't lose for the rest of the weekend. That's your last available loss. Gallon's going to turn to his Paladin, his Murloc Paladin, to go into game number 1. And then we'll see what Eddie chooses momentarily.
Yeah, I think Gallon, he chose to not leave the Shaman up, which we saw the Shaman from Eddie, very, the control game plan could be better against Gallon, who has faster decks, but with doing so, he did leave up Warlock, which is Zoo Warlock for Eddie. So it's hard to say like which one of those is the one you'd want to face more. I'd still probably leave Shaman up, but Gallon has different plans, and obviously he must have studied the matchups through and through to see. The one thing about the Warlock deck is it does not have Hunger Crabs. Maybe that's it. Instead of Hunger Crabs, it has Stone Tusk Spores.
There you go. The Stone Tusk Spore prophecy continues to live on in infamy. And for those of people who don't know, it's because I believe Stone Tusk Spore has been discussed as one of the hardest cards to design around in Hearthstone, or like one card that regularly breaks a lot of the cool cards that they want to release. Which is funny to think about relative to its actual power level. But there has been times where Stone Tusk Spore has been very oppressive, dating back to, I think the most prominent was during Quest Rogue, when Stone Tusk Spore was way out of control. Now that being said, let's go into that first game number 1. Eddie does have that Zoo Warlock waiting, and it's funny that Gallon of all people left up the Zoo Warlock, given that he's the one who respects his power level quite possibly most last week.
Yeah, maybe respecting its power level also comes with a deep, intricate knowledge of how to beat it, which could be weighing into his mind. Maybe feels more confident against the deck, but we'll cross that bridge when we get over it, because right now we have a good ol' Murloc Paladin versus Highlander Paladin matchup on our hands, Dan.
Yeah, and Eddie does have a low curve Paladin deck for the Highlander version, but Gallon has the more consistent version, and that looks like a full keep. And Gallon does. I think that Hand of Adal is low-key like one of the strongest cards in Paladin, and might be one of the low-key strongest cards in the game. Just because it's so absurd if you think about what Hand of Adal represents. If you're able to get a 1-mana minion out, it is so powerful. Compared to like Scavenger's Ingenuity, you have to specifically draw a beast, and you have to wait to turn to play it.
Yep.
And I know that it's different, right? One's hand buffing and one's like playing onto the board, but like I'd much rather have that type of thing, like the Hand of Adal, that can immediately buff. It's like Blessing of Kings if it drew a card.
Which would be insane.
Which would definitely be insane. And the reason why it's insane is because then there's like a lower punishment for aggressive decks to play onto the board early. A lot of times when you're like trying to dump onto the board to buff, it comes at like the cost of, if this gets removed, they've effectively killed 2 of my cards for 1 card, or potentially more if you keep buffing too many things. But Hand of Adal like offsets that, so you're able to keep up the hand resources. And then not to mention, when you play Murgurgle, and you're able to Hand of Adal that gets really nutty. Well, I mean, one of the best hero powers at dissecting aggression in the past was actually the Poison Daggers. The Odd Rogue hero power was surprisingly like very good at dealing with fast boards. And it looks like Eddie is going to lean towards that way.
And the other thing to point out is the Murloc Paladin, it has one chance.
One opportunity.
One opportunity to seize everything a Hearthstone player ever wanted to win a competitive match with Murloc Paladin. And once that opportunity is gone, they lose. And we might be approaching that already, because Gallon is nearing the end of his board's life cycle. And Fishflinger may not necessarily be the strongest card. While it does, you know, he has Murloc synergies, whereas Eddie does not necessarily. It still gives Eddie the same amount of resources, and relying on just random Murlocs is not necessarily the thing that you want to be doing. Well, okay.
Well, he's got another Murgurgle that appeared into his hand off the Fish Flinger. I'm speaking Oliver now.
There's no way that he could ever say Murgurgle. Actually, maybe accidentally.
Imagine the first words of your newborn son being Murloc words.
Eddie's pissed.
He's like, how does he get another one? It just increases the opportunities for Gallon to potentially create game-winning boards. Part of the power of the Murgurgle Prime is just how it presents immediately a threatening Murloc board when you shuffle it in. The only question is, can Gallon get to it consistently? I don't know if he can.
Yeah. Because Eddie can pick apart a good amount of this board. He's got Guardian Og Merchant to take out the Sun Gill. Then he can swing into one, trade into another. So he can take off 3, and then he has 4 mana worth of development. So he can like isolate the Murgurgle and play like a Skyclaw or something along those lines. And that seems like quite a good play to me, honestly. The thing that I think Eddie's worried about is, well, what happens when he draws those Murgurgle primes?
Yeah, then you have to read that card's name out loud again. That's what happens. The catcher doesn't say its name.
And I think it's actually just Murgurgle Prime, not Murgurgle Prime, which is unfortunate. I don't think Murgurgle
TJ.
Prime could fit onto the allotted space for text on a Hearthstone card.
Oh, when there's a will, there's a way.
Are there any cards in Hearthstone that take up 2 lines?
No, but you would just shrink the text.
Yeah, I guess. HenchClan Hogsteed is actually quite a long name.
True, but there's also like, long titles like Dragon Queen Alex Strauss. That's just a lot of letters.
No, that's true. That's true. Also, some of the imprisoned minions also, because imprisoned is...
Or just like name Destroyer of Souls.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Malagos. How is Malagos written? Because Malagos is aspect of magic.
Magic.
Yeah, the text is just slightly shrunk. You're right, Dan.
Yep, that's right.
All right, well, I'm glad we solved that. Now let's...
One mystery.
Yeah, at least we got one. So Blessing of Might allows Eddie to pick apart this board, so does Hand of a Doll.
Hand of a Doll, see what the card gets drawn. It's Magic Carpet. It's a very effective card if he's able to use these 1-mana minions like Murloc Raider later.
Let's move quickly.
And now that Odd Paladin hero power finally gets to flex a little bit. It was an investment into the future because he did have already Angler Rod to chop down some of those Murlocs. And now, if we are Gallon, oh boy, how about 2 more Murgurgles?
I mean, we could even get 3 more from both of the
how about
Underlit
3 more Murgurgles?
I wonder.
And if we're looking at it, it might...
What's the average, or not the average? What's the most likely mana cost for a Murloc?
I'll just probably say like 2. I don't know, 2 or 3 probably. There's a lot of 1 mana Murlocs as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm overriding it, or overthinking it.
There's also like Felfin,
Must move quickly.
the Demon Hunter one.
Sure.
That's a 2.
It's been a while since Shaman's been printing some Murlocs.
Oh yeah, well there's Sludge Stripper as well. Mermy.
Or Gurgle. Oh,
there's Felfin.
Well,
So-
Eddie has actual cards in his deck, so
Yep.
he can play cards like Faceless Corruptor onto his 1-mana minions. However, he does also have Magic Carpet. So that's, I think, what the 2 plays I'm looking at are. Does he favor Faceless Corruptor just to get like maximum tempo here, or does he favor Magic Carpet to get that value out while he can? It feels like Faceless Corruptor is just better tempo overall. You're going to present yourself a lot stronger of a board than just Magic Carpet.
Yeah, that's true, but at the same time, Faceless Corruptor, like one of them would have to go into Mermy, and then you're susceptible to the underlying god. I guess it's still better because you still have a 4/4 at the end of it.
It's true. You kind of force your opponent to attack into it.
Yeah.
I like it better. Oh yeah? Wants to push to 2? Okay. I see it. I see it, Eddie. Just trying to keep his board presence as wide as possible.
Yep. Oh, there it
Oh!
is. There it is, Dan.
McGurgle Prime.
Gurgle Prime, for anybody unfamiliar with the Paladin Prime, is a Murloc with Divine Shield that summons 4 random Murlocs and gives them Divine Shield. So, it can be a pretty big swing, though the difference in strength for Murlocs is quite big. But this is going to be a decent setup for Gallon to be able to play McGurgle Prime going to the next turn, because he's able to clear the board and at least stick something. So, if he gets some high power Murlocs, this could swing around. Both players at 16 is not a super high life total. I'll tell you that.
On either side.
On either side.
And Eddie has like a soft lethal setup here.
With Blessing of Kings and Crazed Alchemist. Alright, let's see.
McGurgle. Oh boy. Finds a Bluegill Warrior with Divine Shield to chop it down some. And Eddie just like, how does he do this?
He also gets the Imprisoned Sun Gill, and he has a Murloc War Leader in hand. I mean, just his board plus Murloc War Leader in hand.
Yeah.
Now
what
we're
do you
talking.
even do?
Let me think.
Very sticky board, and you can see why the McGurgle Prime, if it landed, that's why Eddie was very like upset to see a second McGurgle Prime, or rather, McGurgle, because he was afraid that McGurgle Prime times 2 would increase the chances that he would have McGurgle Prime on curve.
Which he did, and you can tell even when it's not like the absolute nuts outcome, it's still good because it makes this annoying board, even just McGurgle Prime by itself, 8 mana 60 with Divine Shield, is hard to deal with.
Oh, is he going to flip? Interesting.
Oh, is he gonna try and? All right.
Okay, well, Gallon has the war leader, and that's going to wrap it up.
The victory.
Tough situation for Eddie, who looked to be really firmly for a while, and then just kind of played to his outs, and his outs delivered.
Yeah. I honestly, after I saw like what up until turn 5 of that game, I was like, okay, Gallon has no chance. But then you start to think about it more, and Mercurial Prime is just such a huge play on the board, especially since you usually have a lot of follow-up, whether it's the Navigator or War Leader. If you can't pick apart a lot of those Murlocs, then you're going to die really fast. So, Gallon, we haven't seen Murloc Paladin today, but I like the choice, recognizing maybe a slight weakness in Eddie's lineup of if I ban away the Shaman and leave up other decks, he has decks that could be susceptible to the fast aggression. Maybe Eddie didn't include enough Hungry Crabs in his lineup, and that left him susceptible to the Murloc Paladin. Who knows?
Definitely. Well, that's going to bring us to our next break here, and we're going to take a brief intermission. So when we come back, we're going to have game number 2 between Gallon versus Eddie. Stay tuned. Be right back.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile, helping you stay connected to what matters most. Learn about T-Mobile's COVID-19 response on T-Mobile.com.
If I had to be handcuffed to another Grandmaster for an entire month,
Maybe I should choose someone I don't like and annoy them.
I'd want it to be someone that doesn't really do a lot, so they wouldn't be like in the way, causing a lot of problems.
Well, the thing is, I already live with Muzzy, so it already kind of feels like we're handcuffed in a way. Things wouldn't be too different, except for bathroom breaks.
it would probably be Pavel. Pavel's pretty skinny, I can move him around and just go wherever I want.
I'd probably choose Bunny Hopper. I've spent the most time with Bunny Hopper recently, and we get along pretty well.
Princey, probably. He's my best friend here.
It would probably be Zalay. A large problem would be food, and Zalay knows how to find the cheese. So just being handcuffed to Zalay would allow me probably to have more access to more cheese. Is Zalay obsessed with cheese? Yes. It's a problem.
I think it would have to be Eddie. He's a good guy.
Papa Jason, because he is a vegan, and so whenever we go out and have food, I can have all the meat, and he'll just have all the veggies that I don't like to eat.
I'd pick Papa Jason. He's very positive, and I don't think I'd get annoyed being around him. I think with some of the other GMs, they might start to get to me after a while.
You're not the first person that said that. The other people said because he's a vegan, so.
Oh, because he's vegan? Oh, because I get all the meat? Well, that's a way more clever answer. Use that. Just put my voice instead.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas region. We're currently in our elimination match between Gallon and Eddie. The winner of this will challenge Purple in the decider match. Then we'll have 2 of our top 4 ready for week number 3. After that, we are going to go into the round robin group stages, which is going to be really fun. The 16 players get divided into 2 divisions of 8 players, the haves and the have-nots, so to speak. Those who have succeeded in gathering points and those who have not succeeded in being able to get to the points. And that'll bring us to our photo finish of the playoffs and relegation. And, TJ, 3 weeks, kind of like already starting to pick up on the action. It's starting to feel like we're kind of catching our stride in Grandmasters, but at the same time, it feels like we're just getting started.
That makes a lot of sense because, it's a different environment, obviously, this season with being online and all, not being in the studio that we got so accustomed to. But it honestly does feel like we just started. No matter how I look at it, it's just, I look at the date and I'm like, oh my gosh, look, halfway point is next weekend. So, gonna be a crazy ride. The pressure's gonna be on, week after week. You're gonna start to feel that relegation pressure sinking in for a lot of players and see how it goes. But match at hand, Gallon versus Eddie game 2. Gallon on the aggressive sort of dragon hunter, and Eddie once again on the Highlander paladin. Now this hunter from Gallon does have the Scavenger's Ingenuity plus Face Stalker Stone Tusk core, as well as, just some of those mid-range dragons like Evasive Baywing and the Rodnest Drake.
Yep, Gallon has the board control just through his hero power alone here, but he could also choose to develop the Phase Stalker, but that ends up being a punish for Eddie, since he does have the ability to use his Aug Merchant to deal a damage. This is a wise choice by Gallon. Also, he could just kind of squeeze out the opponent of resources slowly over time, because with a start like this, it's actually fairly easy to outvalue the opponent.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, in Gallon's seat, this looks like an opportunity to set up Explosive Trap. However, there are a couple of ways you can get punished for this, namely Hand of Adal. You take that risk. Guess you first tracking since you have a mana left over. Oh, the perfect counter to Brazen Zealot. The Stone Tusk Boar.
The natural predator.
That's right. It's the food chain.
Probably just Imprisoned Felma? I don't know. Yes, you can get punished by Explosive Trap, but maybe you have to play it just to stop the Brazen Zealot from growing. But I guess you're not necessarily concerned about your life total in this matchup, because if you're getting beat up that hard, you're probably going to lose anyway. But that's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage that you've accepted. And it's not getting much better, but the Explosive Trap does... Oh, interesting. He draws the other secret.
So, Phase Stalker... No value right now from Phase Stalker, and if he plays in Hero Power, it's going to give Eddie some information. So at this point, he might be in a situation where he has to play Explosive Trap, but Eddie doesn't have to attack into it.
Right.
And he knows there's going to be a minion spawning next turn with the Imprisoned Felmaw that he can kind of trade down his minions into to still get value out of them through the Explosive Trap, so... That's the big issue here for Gallon, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around the possibility of playing Phase Stalker and Explosive Trap. But I think that would give Eddie context clues of like, well, that has to be Explosive Trap, because I don't think he would have hero powered. If it was Snake Trap, I think he would have hero powered to try to get the Explosive Trap. I think Explosive Trap is a very important thing. And I think by playing any other card besides Explosive Trap, he gives away too much information. Wait, Eddie could get Flare off the Zephyrus. I just realized that.
But there's a lot going on this board, Dan.
Your wish is my suggestion.
He's hoping that Zephyrus reads it correct, and he finds the Flare.
Okay. I was curious there. I was like 95% sure that it would offer Flare.
Oh, wow. This is a Giga Punish on Gallon. Where does this go?
Face.
It would.
Nice. Well,
I think Gallon might be in trouble.
Yeah, he's just dead. He can barely even take enough power on the board to survive. No way he can get back to the game. That was a quick one.
EJ, do you agree with that line that Gallon took?
The Explosive Trap Hero Power?
Well, that play was necessary given that, like we said, the context clues surrounding everything else was too obvious. So I was talking about the plays that led up to that. Like, he chose not to Explosive Trap, and even just like his tracking with his kill command, and he ended up just dying with kill command in hand.
Yeah, it's just the other options from kill command from tracking were quite poor. So that one's kind of, that early game is tough, right? Because Hunter doesn't win. No line wins that from the Hunter's perspective very often. There may have been a line that could win it slightly more often, but Eddie his Highlander Paladin specifically has a very early curve with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-drops and 8 2-drops. So the likelihood that he finds it is pretty high. But at the same time, if he doesn't have a turn 1 player, can't coin out into a 2-drop, A-Stalker can come down unchallenged, and then maybe that's a different game. But I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I think he made almost the best use out of the situation he was put in, with just being behind in tempo from as early as, turn 2, turn 3.
Yeah, it's fair. And in the end, I understand perfectly the logic behind a lot of Gallon's plays, but I do wonder how things could have been. Anyways, moving on, we have game number 3. The Totem Shaman comes into play here for Gallon. We get to see how mighty his totems will become. I hope it's very mighty.
Well, the turn 1 sharpshooter is not what you want to see. That's for sure.
Yeah, that kind of just answers everything that you have. So Gallon's going to go ahead and bolt that. Like it. And then has a mana next turn to go for the Blazing Battle Mage number 2. Woo! Storm Surge. Okay, so the idea of Totem Shaman is that you will use cards like Totemic Might and buff your totems, but you have Totemic Reflection, which gets to buff one of your totems, and after it's done buffing, you'll summon a copy of it. No attack.
Yeah, there's only 2 secrets. It's the same secrets as we saw last game with 1 snake, 1 explosive. So, looks like he's going to wait to go for a buff of some kind in order to attack into this.
Right. Storm Wrath next turn, most likely.
Yeah, maybe Totem Up plus the Storm's Wrath.
In his mind, he's only missing 2 damage.
Yeah. But because Gallon did not check last turn, it means that Eddie gets to play a minion here and potentially get the snake swing.
Hey, I got
the swinging snakes.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew about this possibility. He still could go for Storm Surge or a Totem. Does not get any of the totems that he's looking for. And this is a pretty severe punish.
Yeah.
Once more.
And just like that. The totem dream is gone.
Eddie waits for just a brief second because he could just go with the overconfident orc this turn, save the Unleash the Hounds for another turn. But I like the Unleash the Hounds now. It's like a direct way to twist the knife once your opponent already summoned the snakes, and now, all of a sudden, you're slightly ahead on board.
Yeah. I'm curious what the best draw even is right now. Definitely not Bloodlust.
He can't even use the Totemic Reflection in the ideal way. Gets another Searing Totem. Wow. And Gallon's just going to go ahead and pass it back over. Eddie with a whiff of a draw.
Well, I mean, at least
like this is
at least he has a play right this turn, but he doesn't have a play next turn. And next turn, this is the turn that Gallon I think has to kind of go off.
Right. Well, also Gallon doesn't even have like a turn outside of this. That's a Totemic Reflection. And Totemic Might.
Oh. Here we go. If Eddie doesn't pick up a play here, Splitting Axe plus Storm's Wrath. I mean, that's a play.
I mean, that's a very significant play.
Yeah.
But Gallon's play, while cool, I gotta admit, it's pretty weak. Okay. It's solid, you know? Like, summoning that much for 3 mana is totally reasonable. What's not reasonable is trying to kill off this King Crush. Although he does have a wide enough board where Bloodlust is starting to be threatened.
I mean, that's if Eddie doesn't just see him out Windfury and kill off these Wrath of Air totems.
True. I like that.
So
you like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
There is like one way you can get punished, which is another Searing Totem. Another Searing Totem, sorry. Another Totemic Reflection into a Battling Axe or Splitting Axe. Oh, he's doing it?
I wonder.
Is he gonna do it? I think I like the CMOP more, but I do understand that CMOP gets challenged onto just like with what you see. Trades.
What's the draw? Oh.
I mean, that was it, right? Like, if you saw another Splitting Axe, that was actually the punish.
Yeah.
And now, the thing is, Gallon can Hero Power, play Storm's Wrath, and then Splitting Axe. So, in the end, the trade was correct here from Eddie.
So, he has to be... So, you would Hero Power first.
Right, because then you're guaranteed a Taunt Totem or a Healing Totem.
And then trade Searing Totem, attack the Splitting Axe, and then Splitting Axe again? Because you don't have enough space for all these totems at the moment.
Right.
And you'd rather have the additional Taunt Totem instead.
There's little time.
Oh, nope, he's got a different plan in mind. Base damage.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of tutus.
Oh, yeah. Attack of the Totems.
So he can clear off 4 of these?
Yeah. That's not what Gallon wants to see, but at least it's not, you know, Zephyrus clearing everything here.
And how much damage would he have? He'd have 6 plus 9. I don't know. 15 plus a swing of the weapon. He'd put Eddie down to 2, but he wouldn't clear anything off the board. That's the problem.
Ooh, Eddie is thinking about, does he want anything besides the Rush? That's not Windfury, and I think you still do. You know, for all the turns that we spent making fun of Totem Shaman Not really something worth laughing about here.
So he has 18 damage. Oh! No, you can't do it. You got a bloodlust
He was
here.
so close.
Wait, no, do you have to? Yeah, you have to.
Okay, so
he has to trade one, doesn't he, though?
Right, because there's lethal on board.
Yeah.
He needs to. He could just use this weapon actually to kill off the Tiamat, and then he goes down to 16, and then there's 12 showing.
Okay. No.
Oh yeah. So he's gonna use this to kill the King Crush,
And then trade off and push 4 and hope that Bloodlust isn't up next turn.
Yes.
I guess he can
has to
push
kill
6.
that Tiamat.
Oh, value. Okay. So this is most likely for more minions to survive. He has if 3 minions survive.
Oh yeah.
He has
Gallon set this
18.
up.
If 3 minions survive, he has 18. And right
Nice.
now, Eddie does not have a way to stop lethal outside of something from Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, whether it's a taunt or like a Twin Tyrant or something along those lines.
I'm loving it. And we were talking about how Splitting Axe was one of the defining cards to really set up the aggression for it, and Gallon very wisely recognizing that he needed to trade when he did, but he also pushed the damage to set himself up to have this lethal opportunity, and now Eddie has to get a taunt or a board-impacting dragon. Twin Tyrant would be just absolute nuts here.
There's also essentially no way that one of these cards is not Bloodlust, right? He's been only on the far left one for a while. I mean, the deck...
Floating mana.
Floating mana. Like, there's so many things that cost 2 or less that would have been played already.
Oh!
He does,
Wait, there's still Explosive Trap in the deck.
Oh, Explosive Trap! Oh, I forgot about the Explosive Trap. For some reason, I thought that had already been played.
Ah, and he's playing around the other Storm Surge possibility. Lightning Bolt. 7.
7.
Whoa,
That's lethal.
That's lethal.
Yeah,
because of the spell damage.
it is. Oh my! He has to Lightning Bolt first, though, before he attacks. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's got it. Checked just in case it was some secret that he wasn't sure about, but
lethal. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
well done by Gallon, able to beat the Highlander Hunter, the highest performing class in week number 3. And he does it with the Totem Shaman. That was a very well played game by Gallon.
I will agree. There was some points in that game where I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. Like holding on to Storm Strat for that long, it felt like it was on the verge of just all of a sudden being a dead card. But I think that for watching it, that's how you have to play the matchup, right? Because if you just try and play Storm Strat to as soon as you can to try and eke out more value from a board, you're going to win less of the time than if you just wait for that one big swing with one of the totem cards, whether it's Reflection or Splitting Axe along those lines, and then go for it that way, right? So I love the way he played that, and every little bit counted because he had exact lethal at the end of the game there with the spell damage for the Lightning Bolt. So now Gallon's up 2-1, and he's gotten his lower win rate, weaker decks out of the way with Paladin and Shaman having wins. He's got Druid or Hunter left to just win one more game. So nicely done.
Yeah, so that ends up bringing us to game number 4. Gallon 1 game away from eliminating Eddie, who's been steady Eddie in the Americas. He has Hunter and Druid, and if I'm Eddie, what do you even turn to right here? Like, your Hunter hasn't been working out. Maybe
Warlock?
Is it time to bust out Warlock? But now, well, Hunter's on the menu, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
It feels like you can't. And so, in a way, Gallon leaving up Warlock is quite the ingenious move. Love to see it. No 1-drop to start off, though.
No, still pick one off the top. I mean, this deck doesn't have that many like just playable on 1/1 drops. It's just Blazing Battle Mage and Dwarven Sharpshooter, but they are very impactful. So that's a nice curve for Eddie. He's got all of his early stuff plus his Zephyrus. So
oh yeah. Although I feel like you can make a case here for Coin Animal Companion. He has so many other 3-mana minions, and the Zephyrus can be used to like give him tempo later or even finishing options. Because what does Zephyrus offer you here? It offers you like a wild growth, and you're kind of going to be behind on tempo now that you've seen the prisoner on your opponent's side. So I do like this line here that Eddie's spotted, and most importantly, he's kept his hand very dynamic. He can play it aggressively or he can play it very reactively. Ooh. And then Gallon.
ooh,
There are several lines of play that you can actually look at right here. First of all, he's just going to rip the Stone Toes like the boss is. Oh my god. Oh my god.
nicely done.
Wow, Gallon is a genius. What was that? He just rips it. He could have easily drawn the other Phase Stalker.
Well, there's 2 boars, so he's more likely to draw a boar.
Oh, yeah. 2 out of 3 times. He's doing great.
Yep.
Now, Gallon is really feeling himself. Phase Stalker is ready to go. Finds another Scavenger's Ingenuity.
Okay. So both secrets still in deck. The explosive and the snake. How impactful are they? He can also go for something like just the imprisoned Felmaw, because the longer you wait to get that down, obviously the less impactful it's going to be, because Eddie will have opportunities to build up bigger board states. Like Scavenger's Ingenuity plus imprisoned Felmaw gives him options.
Yeah. Felmaw is real great. And Eddie, I mean, I like the early game decisions he made. It hasn't really panned out, but he still has a good curve going on.
Yeah, Dragon pickup for the Rottennest Drake.
Real good curves.
I wonder if it's just like Zephyrus plus Eviscerate here.
Eviscerate.
Or Zephyrus hit Zephyrus Power of the Wild? I don't know.
I wonder.
Might be still better to play the Zixor. So next turn that 5/4 is attacking the Felmaw. I think you attack with the Desert Spear, so there's a chance that it doesn't attack your face.
Well, it's still, yeah, it still is one
oh,
more
right, because it
turn.
was played last turn.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is an open board for Gallon.
I mean,
and there's a 4/4 Stone Tusk board chilling in hand.
That's what I was about to say. The Stone Tusk board is blowing steam out of its nostrils. I think it's ready to go.
And the damage is picking up.
Hear that little snort? It's taunting him. This Rottennest Drake has a tall order on his hands. This is just really hard to deal with for several reasons, but none bigger than the fact that Gallon is about to start pouring in the damage. Look at his hand. Yeah. All those things are dedicated to killing his opponent very quickly.
Dragonbane especially, because it's going to stick around on board most likely.
Right, assuming Eddie doesn't use Rottennest Drake here. I guess he does have Zephyrus to deal with Dragonbane, but Dragonbane's still going to get its damage output out.
There's the imprisoned Felmaw too. He could play Rottennest Drake, end up killing the Phase Stalker, and then his Rottennest Drake immediately dies to the Felmaw. and Gallon gets a
Right.
free turn development and pushes 4. So checks for the trap first. Gets the explosive. Just 2 damage for Gallon. I'll take it. I guess the attack from the...
And the Felmaw goes face!
Ooh!
Wow!
Nice.
Now you can play the Dragonbane to set up a situation where you're quite frankly happy with either outcome. You can deal 5 damage aggressive to your opponent, or you can have it kill the Rotnest Drake and still have a very sizable board.
Or you could kill command and Stormhammer the face and push 12 and leave your opponent dead to a next weapon swing plus hero power.
I like that as well. Those are all really good options.
Yeah.
Given that he doesn't have a beast in hand, it actually makes me lean towards that play more.
Yeah.
Kill command the Rotnest Drake. Oh my.
He's just trying to protect his board.
Yeah.
I don't mind this at all because he's still pushing damage. And the more awkward he makes Eddie's turns, the more that he has time to just keep chipping away with the hero power. And with 6 nearly guaranteed damage in hand from Stormhammer, plus hero powers in the next couple turns.
Right.
It's not going to take much more to tip this over the edge.
Yeah, we have
into a
the
Gallon
bias
victory.
of knowing the hand of Eddie. Therefore, we can identify that if Gallon went for an aggressive play like that, he wouldn't get punished. But Gallon's considering what Eddie could be holding, and what like he knows how far ahead he is, and he's thinking, "I'm so far ahead. What are some ways that Eddie's deck can punish me?" And I guess he's just trying to restrict his options. There's not too many defensive things that Eddie could do, but there are a couple, and Zephyrus plus something else could end up helping swing the board. Or it feels like a Varanus. Varanus would also be like another way you can punish.
Yeah. But now it's just rough because Zephyrus is
Betrayal. Wow, Gallon did not play around Betrayal at all.
Yeah, that's true. But now Zephyrus is gone, and
4, 10.
Well, I don't think there's any lethal outs with tracking. Like kill command would only be 12 total because you couldn't fit in the hero power along with it.
What tracking allows him to do is maybe pick up the dragon and then use Stormhammer this turn. Corrosive Breath is there's no dragon in hand, but it's like other additional damage that you can do when you pick up a dragon.
Yep.
Dragon Bane or Stormhammer both look great here. Looks like Gallon's just going to go for the throat.
Yep. This is a lethal setup, so I think it's overall better than the Dragon Bane, because if Dragon Bane hits an unimpactful minion and Eddie has like Tiamat in hand, it can clean up the board.
And he can't stop. No taunt. That does it. Gallon moves on to the decider match. Eddie eliminated in 4th place in the group. But you know what? Another great result for Eddie in the sense that he's getting 3 weeks of top 8s. He's the only player to do that in Americas since this season, showing you why he is labeled by many to be the most consistent player in Americas right now, alongside Bloodyface.
Yeah, he's had some rough performances in the top 8, but you know, just the Swish portion, having that consistent record is oftentimes enough. And now Gallon move on to have a rematch against Purple, who we got 3-0'd by in the first match of the day. So looking for some vengeance in multiple ways, because I don't think those games panned out how Gallon wanted to or thought they would. Got curved out pretty heavily in a lot of those games, so we'll see if he can make up for that and have a series that's more akin to this one that he just had against Eddie.
Yeah, well, I mean, only one person can join now, Gidan, but we're going to get that rematch like you're talking about. And so that sets the stage for the final spot from Group A to go to either Gallon or Purple. So we're going to take our final break of the day. And when we come back, we're going to have the conclusion of day number 1 here at week 3 of the Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile, helping you stay connected to what matters most. Learn about T-Mobile's COVID-19 response on T-Mobile.com.